Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it to that point in time where Jurassic World is a franchise officially, and it's not just a sequel to Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic Park: The Lost World and Jurassic Park, which was pretty much the only good film in this entire franchise, but hey, what can you do? Now, I gotta be honest, when Jurassic World first came out back in, when was it, 2015? I actually did like it, to some extent. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't even think it's that good of a film. I think it's competent in what it's trying to do. And a lot of stuff that they did with the park, finally being open and like seeing all the people going to it and seeing all the dinosaurs in their habitat, seeing a successful park, all of that was all fine. I enjoyed that. I genuinely enjoyed that. However, when it got to the Indominus Rex, I thought that was kind of ridiculous. The special effects I thought were pretty crappily done, and it has some of the worst deaths I've ever seen in a movie towards people who don't deserve it. And I do actually think that was a big complaint. A lot of people said like the villains never got the worst deaths. It was always like these random people that you kind of felt bad for. It's like, oh, they got the worst death, really? I've kind of talked about this before, but I rest my case. All in all, I thought Jurassic World was okay. I thought it was an okay follow-up. I thought it was the best sequel since, well, it was just the best sequel. I mean, I can't say either of them were good. But now here we are at Fallen Kingdom, a good 3 years later, and oh man, just what a fucking disaster that was. I just saw in theaters. I can't believe it. Now, I took a few days to get this review out, to even do this review, because I was so dumbfounded by just how ridiculously insane the movie I watched. It was like a fever dream, in a way. I didn't go to a movie theater. I had a fever dream, and this was the result. Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. Anyways, what's the premise? So, it's a couple years later after Jurassic World has been officially closed off from the rest of the world and dinosaurs roam free. Hooray. However, the once dormant volcano that was on Isla Nublar starts to be active again, and it is literally about to erupt, which is pretty weird because our scientists would have probably overseen this happening probably a year or 2 years prior, but whatever. And all the dinosaurs are going to go extinct now because they're all on that island. So the whole world is kind of wondering, is it okay to leave them on that island and kill them off? They are endangered. Should we treat them like endangered species? Then we got old Claire. I think, no, what's her name? Yeah, Claire, I think, who was in the last movie, who was the head of the park, played by Opie Taylor's daughter. And she is now part of an animal rights movement who is all for dinosaurs and loves dinosaurs and is trying to save them. And then we have Owen Wilson, who is Chris Pratt, of course, back as just your old country boy farmer guy from Kansas, and just doing whatever. I don't even know, building a house, traveling. Yeah, they don't really go in depth. And, both of these characters go to the island. They get involved with Lockwood, which was the partner with Dr. Hammond, or Mr. Hammond, in the first film. He was one of the people who created okay, just the plot is save the dinos, and then the dinos get auctioned, and there's a bunch of terrorists who are getting involved. The Russian is buying dinosaurs, and it's up to Chris Pratt and fucking Opie Taylor's daughter to save the dinosaurs from all these investors or evil rich people who are paying millions of dollars for these dinosaurs. What? Okay, where do I start? This movie, it sucks. How about that? This movie sucks. The premise is absolutely ridiculous. Just the volcano itself is just kind of weird to me. This was something I said, like I just explained. Wouldn't our scientists have overseen that like years prior? But now it's like, oh, all of a sudden they're all gonna die. I don't know, it was just weird. And going back to the park, Isla Nublar, I thought it was gonna play a bigger part in the picture, but no. it doesn't. In fact, halfway through the movie, I was like, we've gone through a lot, but why am I not invested? Why do I not know what's going on? It was pretty weird. And then the rest of the movie takes place in a mansion, in a gothic Victorian age looking mansion. And it's like, what's going on? Like, and then we focus on this auction that they're selling the dinosaurs off because this one guy betrayed Lockwood, who was partners with John Hammond. It's like, okay, what's going on? It's weird because it kind of feels like, me, a person who has seen every single Jurassic Park movie, going into this film, it felt like I hadn't seen those. It'd be like if I went into Avengers Infinity War without seeing the previous movies. That's the feeling I got in this movie. But I've seen all those movies. So it's like, even if you didn't watch the other movies, or if you watch them, you're fucked either way, because it's like, wait, what's happening? This doesn't make sense. And a lot of it just doesn't make sense, and it's ridiculous. It's over the top, excuse me. And I can't really describe just how insane this movie went. And there's so many issues with this movie. I could talk about like a lot of things. First and foremost, the acting's okay. I'm not gonna say it's amazing. Opie Taylor's daughter does a good job. So does Chris Pratt. However, the rest of the characters, they all do a fine job, except for one character whose name was, I think his name was Franklin. This character is the most irritating character I've seen in a movie lately. I wanted him to die. He was so goddamn annoying and incompetent. I hated him so much. And then there was this other girl whose name escapes me because she was bland and forgettable. She was fine, but really she didn't do that much. So I can't really say she bothered me or I was neutral towards her. And then other than that, you had clear villains. I'll give this movie one credit. The villains get the worst death in this movie, which is great. I'm happy for that. But it's really not worth it. This movie was pretty damn terrible. And there are a few moments, literally moments of just like, oh, this is okay. Like, there's a funny moment with Chris Pratt and Opie Taylor's daughter where they have a funny moment. It's like halfway through the film. But that was one moment in the movie I thought was actually funny. And then there's other moments that were just kind of like, I can tell they're trying to be funny, but it's just not. The humor isn't working because these characters are so annoying. I don't really care. And as for the dinosaurs, that whole magic and mystery and just adventure and that the first Jurassic Park created, it's like you really can't capture that again. I really don't think you can at this point. I think Jurassic World was their best shot, and they kind of got some things right. But here it's like they said, fuck it. Let's just go in the way of The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. Let's just screw up everything. I can go into depth of how these dinosaurs are scientifically inaccurate. I am a prehistory nut, but I kind of look at this movie as its own alternate universe, kind of like hey, they're genetically modifying them. Maybe they're different. I don't know. But still, it is kind of bothersome to someone like me who does love prehistory and, animals of prehistory, of the prehistoric eras, and seeing them just completely misrepresented and just like seeing them do like things where it's like, hey, you know what? Scientifically, that wouldn't work, but whatever. It's a movie. And I could let that go, and it's a dumb film, and I could say it's fun, but it's really not. In fact, out of the group that I went into the theater with, this was the first time I was the only one who had a different opinion, where everybody was like, this movie's so dumb and ridiculous, it's fun. I really couldn't agree. This movie isn't necessarily fun because it's just so miserable. The whole movie is depressing. It's never like upbeat or satisfying. Even the ending isn't satisfying. It's just kind of like, oh man, I feel like hell. And it's like you feel like shit. There's like two alternate endings that could have happened, and in both endings, it sucks for the viewer. It's just like, oh man, this is what's gonna happen, and it's like you kind of just feel miserable watching the movie. There are moments that are just comically over the top, like this clear Russian terrorist with a thick accent paying money to get this prototype dinosaur for a weapon. It's ridiculous. And in terms of that auction scene, like that was also something that didn't make sense to me. These dinosaurs are only selling for $4 million. Like they're starting off $4 million and at most $28 million for these dinosaurs. And at the end, this evil motherfucker just makes like $125 million. That's it for all the dinosaurs. You got $125 million. That's insane to me because this expedition probably costs more than that. If anything, this guy, he didn't even break even. He probably lost a shit ton of money, like with all the mercenaries he had to hire. Oh, that huge boat that probably cost $1 billion at least to make. I mean, three U.S. destroyers, or not U.S., Australian destroyers, cost like a little bit over $9 billion to make. And this ship is essentially like one of those destroyers, except, obviously not military. It costs way more than the dinosaurs, and it just doesn't make sense. These are extinct animals, genetically modified animals, and they're paying that little money for it. That just kind of bugged me. That was kind of insulting. I was like, what? This is how much you're going to pay? And it's dumb. It doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, the guy's like happy. He's like, ooh, this thing's worth $28 million. He's like, holy shit, I'm making a ton of money. It's like, you probably lost your whole fortune. Hell, you know what? You probably could have just stolen from the Lockwood Foundation a little bit each year and probably made it a lot more money than just saving those dinosaurs. This guy was an idiot. And, again, I could go into depth of how stupid the movie is and just like the dumb mistakes, but I think the real mishap is the fact that there's really no likable characters outside of Chris Pratt and I forget her name at the moment, Opie Taylor's daughter, who plays Claire, who I guess now in this movie is an animal rights activist, which in the last movie she didn't give a fuck about these animals. It's just kind of weird. I know she had an arc at the end of the last movie, but it's not big enough to where I could see her being in this position. Again, it kind of reminds me of like The Lost World. Like they kind of want a Sarah of the franchise, and they wanted her to be it. It's weird. It's a complete like turnaround from her character. Chris Pratt hasn't really changed, or Owen, excuse me. And probably like one of the more disappointing parts about the movie is Ian Malcolm, or aka Jeff Goldblum, who was advertised a lot in the trailers, and he is in this movie for less than a fucking minute. I'm not even joking. He's at the beginning of the movie, says some bullshit lines that are ridiculous beyond belief, and then shows up at the very end. And both times it's a hearing. In the beginning of the movie, they have a hearing for, is it ethical to leave these dinosaurs to die? And they say, yeah, it's fine. Who cares? And then at the end of the movie, they have another hearing towards dinosaurs being unleashed into the world. And they're like, oh, it's dangerous. Like, what should we do? It's like, send the military? Like, why the fuck do you just have a T-Rex walking into a zoo? Are you serious? Like, the world, they are not able to take down a T-Rex? I mean, that's insane to me. Like, they have a military. Even the cops killed a T-Rex. I mean, it's not hard, and it's like there's a few dinosaurs that are let outside loose in the world, and it's like you could easily just take them down. You didn't need to call a hearing for this. In a way, I feel like that hearing, both of those scenes were the same scene at one point, but then they split it up to the very end. I have a feeling that's what they did because it just doesn't make sense. Why are they calling two different hearings? I mean, hell, Jeff Goldblum or Ian Malcolm is wearing the exact same fucking suit in both hearings. I'm pretty sure. It's just my speculation, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Anything I like about the movie? There was one scene, or maybe two scenes, which was with Owen, the character Owen, played by Chris Pratt, was training Blue as a baby. I thought that scene was really touching, really cute, very Jurassic Parky. I thought those scenes where you see him with the baby Velociraptor Blue, I thought that was really cute. Like, honestly, that was kind of like, oh, that's cute. And there was one funny moment, but other than that, the charm is gone, and it's just kind of miserable to watch, which is a shame. Because even in the Lost World, it's like it has a happy ending. Jurassic Park 3 has a happy ending. Jurassic World has a happy ending. All the Jurassic Park movies have happy endings, but this one was just like misery. Miserable, not fun, not happy. Even the music wasn't upbeat. Although it did have a cool, one of the coolest sort of title reveal in the beginning I've ever seen. It's really cool. Other than that, I can't really think of too much more to complain about or talk about. The movie is pretty bland, pretty forgettable, and even the locations are horrible. You spend the first part of the movie is on the island for a little bit. I would say probably 30 minutes at most. You spend on that island, and then the rest of the movie is taking place in this gothic mansion, which is kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. And seeing this Indoraptor crap at the end of the movie where he's trying to kill this little girl. Why is he so focused on this stupid little girl the whole time? I'll never know. But it's just kind of like it's like, okay, been there, done that. And it's just kind of weird to have dinosaurs in the mansion. To me, that's weird. And the whole premise is weird. I don't know. The final verdict for Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom, is a very unenthusiastic 4 out of 10. I can't say this movie is horrible. It's not. It's a below average. There are funny things in this movie that kind of make it worthwhile to watch because it's so ridiculous, but it's not fun. Excuse me. It's just not fun to watch this movie, and it's not that funny. It's not that stupid. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel, see what kind of crap they pull out of their ass with that. Like, they better go all out. But with this film, it's just like it doesn't even feel like a Jurassic Park film at this point. It just feels like a monster. It feels like Future War. Anybody ever hear about that? Future War. Like, that's a terrible movie, really good, really fun. I've seen it so many times. But it just feels like a stupid movie with dinosaurs as the monster villains. And the special effects don't look good, so that's another problem with the movie. The special effects look awful, and at times just really fake looking. So, yeah, the 4 out of 10, I couldn't get into it. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you not see it? Are you protesting against it? Let me know down in the comments down below. Please, as always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. And I'll see you next time on One for a Review. As always, have a nice day.